Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic Hope Day. I hope that's going well for you. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a clarification on the project directions and then let you set sail today on some things I would like you to do. I think I introduced it at a weird time yesterday, kind of in the middle of everything. I think you need some time to process it, but today we got to get to work on this. So the point of this project is to cover the material that we needed to cover over the last few chapters of the book and the last few units, without me necessarily needing to direct instruct you in lecture every day. I don't think that the days where we've done that's gone very well, and I would like this to be something where you're getting a chance to create and defend something. So that is where this project comes in. At its heart, it's an opportunity for you to explore investing in your own way, in a way that's meaningful to you. So I hope I didn't make it sound like it was this huge project, even though it is. Really, it comes down to something pretty simple. Hopefully I'll try and explain that today. So I'm going to explain the project just a little bit more right now to start with. Then I'm going to give you a to-do list of things that I would like you to do today, Wednesday, to have done, so that way when we come back on Thursday we can have a better discussion about it. Once you finish this to-do list, then you can go back and keep working on the stock market simulation. I know many of you are still trying to get everything invested in that you need to, and with the slowness of the system it's been kind of tough, but I think it's important that we get this project on the right foot. And the other reason too is I think there's a lot of things we haven't covered yet that are going to make you a better investor and that allow you to even do better on this project during the limited time we have left in here. So that's why I want to launch this. So first things first, we have to talk about the grading. We're going to apply a grade to it. It's going to be worth 50 points total. And I'm saying 30 points for the process and 20 points for the final presentation, which means I care more about the effort that you put in than I do about how it turns out in the end. And if you put in the effort, it should turn out fine. So I want this to be something that you take seriously and put a lot of effort into. And I'm trying to send that message, because to me, that's the most important, is that you're taking the steps you need to be successful. And you would do that if you were investing, you would do that if you're in a sport, you would do that if you're going to the army. You set yourself up for success. You don't hope that it happens to you. All right. So I'm going to skip a lot of this. I'm just going to briefly say these objectives. This is pretty much every objective in the class. Some we've covered, some we haven't. But I'm hoping through this project, this will serve as almost your final in a way, in that it'll demonstrate you know all the objectives. And this will be your final test then. I can see that you definitely get it. So that's why most of the objectives are on here, because I do want you to be able to demonstrate those. And I think understanding all of that is part of what it means to be a smart investor. The big one I want to focus on are these driving questions. And I kind of gave you the choice of two, but I really want to focus in on this one. Choice number 2. How can we design an effective investment strategy to provide advice to our peers, parents, and community? Really what that's getting at is that I want you to figure out, through research, through whatever you create, a way that you can explain how to make a wise investment and have a lot of information to back you up and be able to tell people, okay, if you want to figure out if this is a good stock to invest in, you need to do these steps. And based on what I've done and what I've researched, I believe needs to be the things you can do to figure out if something's a good investment. Because you may not know off the top of your head if something's a good investment, but it's all about the research you put in. And that's what I want to focus on, is that research aspect of investments, that you do your homework, not like out of school homework, but that you do the research to find out that something's good. I know I keep saying that a lot, and I'm repeating that, but that's a big part of being a smart investor, is doing your homework, staying on top of it, and keeping yourself up to date on what's going on. A big topic in class has been the debt ceiling and that whole government shutdown crisis. And I think that underscores the importance of smart investing even more, because it shows that things that we typically have relied on, like Social Security, Medicare may not necessarily be there for us in the future. Now, you might argue that, okay, well, if those are gone, we might have bigger problems and our investments will tank. Maybe, but I think it's far more likely that you'll be fine if you save for your future and you do some smart things to do that. And I'll be optimistic about it. I just think that you need to take things into your own hands, and that's why I feel this is important. So, how can you design an effective investment strategy to provide advice to your peers, parents, and community? I do want this to be something that we share out among people outside of our classroom. I feel that that's important for you to send that message out there. So we're going to be answering this question. And then the next part I find very important is questions that you need to know. Like, what do you need to know in order to do this? This can be any question. Okay, and I wrote down some examples that are really specific to investing, but if you've got a question like, well, how do I even go about finding information? What terms should I know? That's where I come in. That's where I help out. That's where I talk about things in class. That's where I give you suggestions. Okay, it's not like I'm saying, okay, here you go. I'm not going to help you at all. I'm here, and I feel like I'm going to be able to do as much as if I was teaching up front, but I think you'll be able to take a lot more responsibility over the learning, and you'll remember more and get more out of it that way. So this is a big part of the to-do list I have you today, is these questions that I want you to ask, and then ways that you're going to show your individual knowledge. I'm still deciding, but I'm thinking that I want regular blog posts from students on this, especially if you're working in pairs, because if there's a group project and you have a product at the end and it looks really good, that's great. But you don't always know who did all the work. So by having each student do a blog every week and saying what they're doing and what they're getting out of this and what they're learning, then I'm going to have a better idea of what each individual student is getting out of this. So that's where this comes in. And then at the end, you would put together some sort of a presentation or a podcast or some other option that is an overall reflection of the process and the project and how you feel about it as a whole. So that's the individual piece. Then there is the group piece, which I want you to be as creative with as you want. Whether it's a commercial or whether you make full-on marketing materials like you're an investment company, I'm leaving that up to you. If you have other options, you tell me. But I want that to be something that you create and that we can share out pretty easily. And that's really the big part of this, is that you answer that question. There's no one right answer. I'm hoping that we get several different answers on this, and that you do something creative to demonstrate that you know that. And then as far as grading is concerned, I do have that critical thinking rubric I showed in class today, and that's really just getting at the fact that you are into this and you're asking questions and you're being thoughtful in your notes and what you write down and in your answers as you go through this process, and not just skimming the surface, but really digging deep and getting a better understanding. And if you don't understand something, that you're once again asking those questions. Questions are important. Questions are more important than answers in this case. Asking the right questions means you need to ask questions. And then I'm hoping for revisions to be this week of October 21st, and then wrap things up with our presentations on the 30th. So the revision process is going to be a pretty big deal. I want to spend at least a class period on that, where each group gets a chance to be revised by another and give good feedback. We'll talk about that process then. And then I do want these presentations to be done during about that last week of our term. And that may be just we play your commercials if you created those. If students want to present their individual reflections, they can do that, and we'll discuss that more. But that's another part I wanted to get to. This is much your project as it is mine. And yeah, I set the guideline here, but this is to start a discussion with you. And what do you think it should look like? And what do you think you should know by the time you're done? I want you to feel like this was worth your while to be in here. And that means I need your input on what you need before you leave here. Right. So that's the overall directions. I hope I clarified that. But let me simplify it for what specifically I'd like you to do today. I just have a simple to-do list here. It looks long, but really I'm not asking that much in here. And then after you finish this to-do list with your team, then you can go on and look at the stocks again. So this to-do list, in your group of 2, I do have a caveat for working alone here. I hope that you work in a group of 2. It'll be a more beneficial experience, I think, if you do have a partner to help you out with this. But I will leave it open. If you really want to go lone wolf, go for it. But basically, I want you to share a Google Doc with each other and with me, and then to answer some responses here. Come up with some questions about the project. Okay, I'm putting 5 on there because I want to make the point that in order to do a successful job on this, you have to be asking questions. If we don't ask questions, we have nothing to lead our further research on. So ask questions. You can benefit the whole group by even one good question. So I want you to generate 5. Explain how you think that this final product should be graded. So I want you to have as much of a say in the assessment as me. And you determine what it is that's the standard that we're going towards. Then I want you to identify at least 2 sources of information. Could be the book. Could be a particular website that has a lot of good investing information. Could be a contact you have or a contact you find that's an expert in the area. But any of those things would be great for resources. And then give me any comments. Vent if you need to. If you don't like something, that's fine. But I want your comments at the end if you have any about the project. And then we can address those concerns when I'm back. Make sure double check that it's shared with me. And my expectations is completed before you leave the room today on Wednesday. I'm saying today, it's Tuesday right now, but you'll be seeing us on Wednesday. And then, yeah, when you're finished, then get back in your groups and continue working on that stock market simulation and getting those portfolios to go northward. Northward. We can do that. I know we had a rough couple days to start with, but we're going to recover. We're going to do awesome. I can tell. All right. Last part, if you have any questions at all for me while you work through the day today, I created a back channel chat. The web address is todaysmeet.com/Mr. G is gone. And if you have any questions at all for me, type them in here. Please use your real name. I will not feel like responding to anybody who is not the name of a student in my class. So please, if you have any questions at all, type them here. I'll be in a meeting, but I'm right next door in 211. I'm close enough that if something major comes up, I can run over. But ask questions here. I will be on this. I will respond to you if I can. So please ask away. Good questions. Questions are never bad. I like questions a lot. Do you like questions a lot? I need to stop saying questions. I need to end this. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.